I'm here now with Andy Graves. Andy, thank you for your time. To start us off, would you like to tell us a little bit about what you do in terms of script writing?
Do lots of things really, but I suppose one of the most recent things I did was I co-wrote a screenplay with somebody, and that's currently, lots of sort of people are looking at it. It's currently takes a long time to develop sort of things like that, so that's one thing. The main thing I do really is like poetry and performance poetry, and I had my first sort of collection come out last year.
How did you get into writing, and when did you start writing?
Like a lot of people really, I started when I was about 13, 14. Didn't really know what I was writing, I just wanted to write, and then kind of sort of worked out that I was probably writing lyrics for a band that didn't exist, and then very shortly after that I started my own band, and then started singing in a band and then writing lyrics for that band, and then I was in quite a few other bands, and then I realised I didn't really want to work with musicians anymore, so I started doing stuff on my own really.
Just give the Create Show viewers an insight into how you form the basis of an idea, and exactly what the process of getting the idea out of the brain and onto the page is.
If it's it might be just some inspiration. I see something on TV or whatever, or something will inspire me to write something, but I think that inspiration is only a very small part of it. Then that's where the work starts. So sometimes it is completely my idea that I start with and finish with and produce something from, but other times, you know, you work, same as in any other industry, you work to quite strict briefs. So someone will ask you to write a specific thing about this, and then you go away and you write that. So it's not my idea, but I turn it into something that I want to produce and I feel comfortable writing, and that I think is going to work for that market or that magazine or whatever.
Now, whilst it might be an exciting process creating the idea and forming it into a script, trying to get into the industry isn't always plain sailing. Just give us an insight from your experience on some of the setbacks that can happen when trying to get into the business.
Well, I think there's a number of things. I mean, sometimes being a writer, unless you've actually, you know, made it, you know, talking, you know, people like Stephen King, or if you write, sometimes it's very difficult to be confident about being a writer and saying I'm a writer, because I think people don't necessarily see you as a writer unless you are that successful. But I think writers work on many different levels, and most writers will write and they'll make a certain amount of living through writing, but at the same time they will do other things to sustain their income as well. So it will be teaching, whether that's teaching things that are to do with writing or whatever, or writing for magazines or copywriting or whatever. So that's one thing. Sometimes it's hard to take yourself seriously as a writer.
One thing I know people would like to get your opinion on is this perception that unless you live in Hollywood or London, you're not going to make it as a scriptwriter. Do you believe that's true? I mean, is it important that you live in the media hotspots?
I don't think you have to live in London or Hollywood. I'd be a liar if I said it didn't help. I think if you do live and work around London, statistically you've got much more chance of, like performance poetry for instance. I mean, I love living in Nottingham. I like Nottingham, and I think Nottingham's got a lot of character, so I'd much rather stay in Nottingham. But I know that if I was living in London, I would probably have there'd be more gigs I could access and more paid performances I could access being in London. And that's not just being bitter or moaning about it, it's a fact. You do get that in London, and I suspect the same thing will be something like Hollywood. But also, the other downside is, if you lived in those places, you're instantly up against more competition, whereas something like Nottingham or say Birmingham or Manchester, there won't be as much competition to do the kind of things you want to do as there would be in London. There'll be probably a performance poetry night every night in London, where there might be one once a month in Nottingham. So you're instantly cutting down your competition. But so kind of 50% agrees with that sort of statement, but then 50% of me says there are opportunities in other places, definitely.
All right, that's all, Andy. Thank you for your time, and good luck in the future with all your writing.